Hello, fellow humans. It's very late, but I slept a lot of this afternoon, so guess who's wide awake, weird hours of the night as usual? This girl. What do I normally do at 3 o'clock in the morning? Work on snake whips. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now, and I've got them all kind of sitting in my lap because I just finished the overlay on my latest one, I believe yesterday. And what I had done was I finally sat down and wrapped all my paracord into neat little bundles so that I could put all my colors next to each other and actually figure out what color I wanted to do. Since right now I'm just trying to create some stock whips that I can do whatever color I want based on what I currently have. And I wasn't really sure what color I wanted to do, so what I did was I put them all next to each other, and I was like, you know what 3 colors actually look surprisingly cute together are my 2 different pinks and the red. It almost looks like if you were to bite this whip, it would taste like strawberries, and that's kind of what I love about it. It's just got, the overlay is stripes of the red with the peach and then the small stripes of the hot pink. And it's just this really cute looking kind of licorice inspired whip. So that one's super cute. Again, I'm just kind of collecting a pile of whips that need the heel knots tied. It's easier to just sit down and do them all at once. I'm not worried about it. So both these guys need heel knots. This is the same one I showed you before. Nothing's happened on it since then. I've got a third whip that I just finished plating the second belly on. All I have to do, I already rolled it out. I just need to do a quick wrap with the artificial sinew, and then I can start the overlay on this one. I did have someone specifically request a yellow and black whip, and even though I already have this one completely finished, I'm thinking it might be a little bit too yellow for this particular person, so what I'm going to do is, on that whip that just needs the overlay, I'm going to do this half and half pattern with the yellow and the black, so that it's not quite as caution tapey. Don't get me wrong, I still very much love this wasp stinger whip, but it is very yellow. So I'm gonna do that, and then I also like the idea of I've got the lavender, the blue, and the gray that I use in my cores, and I thought I wanted to do another blue colored whip. So I thought maybe that same striped pattern in those 3 colors. I haven't decided which amount of which one yet, so we'll see. Stay tuned. But I have all the whips currently kind of sitting in my lap here from start to finish, the order I made them. And it's just kind of funny how different they've become. So I keep talking about the kink in the first whip, so I thought I'd point it out really visually here. Right there. There's this big dip in the rope. There's this big kink in the whip where the end of the second belly is and where the wraps are just on the core. And so it definitely affects the construction of this first whip. It'll still be forever in my heart because it's the first whip I ever made, what's got me into all this. And it's been about a month now, believe it or not. A month, and I'm on my 8th whip. It's a little bit crazy. And then I've even noticed, so the first snake whip is pretty tight. This is my personal one, the one I had used on me at the party recently. So this one's seen a little bit of wear in person. This one's pretty tight, but I think when I went to make these 2 whips, they are a little bit squishier. Like, I could have pulled the plating tighter. So I can really see the difference, especially in like these two whips, where this one is extremely sturdy and this one has a little bit of a give to it. Not a lot, but it does feel different. And that is either... Actually, I think it's both because I've been more conscientious about pulling my strands completely tight, and also I've been wrapping the bellies with the artificial sinew all the way up and down. So, kind of cool to have the side-by-side comparison. Hoping to get some of these off my hand so I can justify making more whips. I feel like I've got quite a collection of whips here, so if you want one, let me know. I have all these whips I want to make, and it's getting to the point where I need to start selling them just so I can justify buying more supplies, because I still want to get more colors. I want to make longer whips, I want to make bull whips, I just have all these whip making things I want to do, and a pile of whips growing, so I need to get some of these off my hand. So that's what's up in Whipland. Other than that, what's going on? This morning I took Matt to his first tattoo, so that was very exciting. I'm really happy that I got to be there to share that experience with him. It was my birthday gift to him. I set up the appointment, and for a consultation we went up, and he got a video game tattoo from Final Fantasy VIII, which is also my favorite Final Fantasy. It's not his favorite Final Fantasy, but it's my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time. So I was all for that idea, and I kind of want to get a Final Fantasy VIII tattoo myself now. Not of the same thing. I'm not really about matching tattoos, especially for couples, because we all know how that goes. It's just a curse. But if you're familiar with the game, I'm thinking I kind of want to get shoot, what's his name? As I'm talking about this thing I want to get tattooed. I actually have a necklace, it's Squall's necklace, the main character. It's of, I believe it's Griever. It's this kind of like lion-faced thing on like a pointy dagger cross, and I kind of want to get that as a tattoo. I'm not sure where, but I made a necklace of it out of clay a long, long time ago, because I've always loved that game so much. So maybe that'll happen eventually. Being at that tattoo shop today was like, oh man, I haven't gotten a tattoo in a while, which is ridiculous because I haven't really talked about my tattoos yet on this channel. My most recent tattoo was it's very difficult to show because it's a sleeve, but this viper fish that snakes around my arm, he was the most recent addition to this, which started out as I just wanted the skeletal mermaid done, and then I was like, I don't really know how to build around this. I should probably just turn this into a sleeve. And so I hit up my guy and was like, hey, I want to do like a deep sea half sleeve on my arm. So then we went and we added in the angler fish here with the little, this guy's name is Bob. Bob is very fascinated by the bioluminescence here as he's about to be horribly eaten alive. And then the viperfish was my most recent addition. This still has a little bit of work to be done, needs a little bit of shading and whatnot, but I really love that tattoo. I wouldn't call myself super heavily tattooed. I'd say I'm like light to moderately heavily tattooed. I've got a total of about 13, 14-ish tattoos. It's almost hard to count them. That's where I'm at, because do I count them by the number of sessions? Because like, technically my whole chest piece was only one session, even though it really does look like two different, because it's two sides. So it's really two tattoos, but we did the whole thing at once, so I count it as one tattoo, but that's really... It's so hard to count tattoos once you get to a certain point. So I've got around 12 to 13 tattoos, and they're all big. I don't have any small pieces. And I still have a lot more planned that I'd like to do. My back piece is unfinished right now. It's just my spine. It's eventually going to be a full back piece. So one day, hopefully, I'll get that finished. I just haven't... Every time I go, I've never gotten something outlined and not had it finished as a standalone piece. I've never had to like come back and get something shaded. So when we did the spinal piece, I knew that we were going to be adding to the sides later, but you can't tell that looking at it. It looks like I just have my spine done. So it'll be weird when we finally go to do that, because I imagine we'll end up lining both sides and then coming back and shading it all after. But I hate the idea of looking like a work in progress. I'll probably be like, all right, well, we need this next appointment as soon as this line work's healed. Like, give me 3 weeks and I'll be back. But that's just a lot of money to invest because it's going to be a really big tattoo. I don't even know how many hours or how much money I have invested in my tattoos at this point. I traveled pretty far away. I've been following the same guy through multiple shops. He's done more than half of my tattoos. I do have some random ones that were just walk-ins. For example, my shibari tattoo was just a walk-in I got for myself on my birthday a couple years ago. My sternum piece was a walk-in. Both ones on my leg were walk-ins. Everything else I had an appointment for, though. Yeah. No, everything else I did have an appointment for. So that's what's new in tattoo life. Other than that, you might notice I finally brought my corsets over to the house. I only really have 2 of them right now. I used to be a lot more into corseting as like a body modification, like wanting to actually waist train. And I fell out of it for a while because my thing about corsets is, as much as I love them, I don't like wearing them when I'm just around the house because it's difficult to relax. My favorite place to wear my corsets is at work, and I'll stand up so you can actually see, or kind of stand up so you can kind of see what I'm wearing. This is the only one I have that really fits me right now because I have lost weight. This is my 28-inch hourglass from Timeless Trends, and you can tell it's done up almost all the way, so I really need to size down. But corsets are also expensive. That being said, though, there's this limited edition orchard corset I just saw this morning that I want wicked bad. It's like this kind of mint color, which if you couldn't tell by my coffee cup earlier, I'm kind of a fan of this color, and it's like this color on the background in satin with the hip ties like this one, and then it's got like this pink floral pattern all over it. It's a really pretty corset. I want it so bad, so depending on how much it is and how much I get paid, maybe I'll buy it this week and size down a little bit, get it in like a 26. And I'm fortunate in a way in that I'm very naturally hourglass shaped. My waist is much smaller than my hips or shoulders, so even though my waist is about, the last time I measured it was like a 34, 35, this is a 28-inch corset. Not everyone can size down that much. If you're new to corseting, go look up Lucy's Corsetry. I'll try to remember to link her in the description here. She has a lot of really great videos and talks a lot about the pros, cons, in and outs, answers questions all about corseting. It's something that I would like to try to get back into. Maybe I'll try wearing this to work tomorrow. My favorite thing about wearing corsets, especially to work, is that they have a very similar effect to weighted blankets in the fact that having that pressure, it's kind of almost like a constant hug, and it causes you to stand up straight. And so not only does it decrease anxiety, but it helps raise confidence. So it's not wearing it at work under my uniform. It's not about feeling sexy or anything like that. It's that it physically makes me stand taller and feel more confident. So I like wearing it at work under my uniform, even though it looks, you can't really see because it's not like I'm wearing it over the uniform, but like it's very obvious how much smaller I am than the shirt that I'm wearing. So no one really has ever said anything. Except I did have this customer once, and it was really funny. I was wearing a corset underneath my uniform, and I work at a print center, so I was checking her out at the counter. And she was a businesswoman, like a professional-looking businesswoman who was picking up her presentations. And I'm bringing her out, and she's having a very, blasé, how's the weather today kind of conversation with me. And then all of a sudden, she starts doing this thing where she's kind of staring at my chest. And then at the end of the conversation, she looks up at me and goes, "You must be wearing a fantastic bra." And I was like, "Actually, I'm wearing a steel-boned corset, but thank you." And I was just like, did she just compliment me on my tits? It was just a really funny interaction with this random businesswoman. But, yeah, maybe I'll try wearing it at work tomorrow. I just kind of threw it on right now because I was curious to see if this one still fits. I know all my other ones are going to be too big. I only have one that might still fit, but it's an overbust corset versus I really like the underbust more. The overbust, like, it's just too much of a commitment to my outfit. Like, it pretty much replaces a shirt versus I like just wearing these as almost like a belt. So I have a black satin overbust, but I don't know if I'm ever actually going to wear it. I should probably just sell it. I bought it at a Renaissance fair a while ago. The reason I think I kind of stopped wearing them was because my boyfriend actually really doesn't care for corsets, which I thought was funny. I was just like, what am I dating, the one guy who doesn't think corsets are attractive? But it's not that he doesn't find them aesthetically pleasing, but he says that it's like trying to hug a cardboard tube, which I totally get, because the thing about it is, like, I mean, it doesn't bend with you. And where I have such a small waist naturally, my look might be a little bit more extreme than what your average person is going for when they're putting on a corset. And they do make corsets that aren't such an extreme angle to them. I just prefer these ones because they fit my body shape better. And I like the look of the, really tiny waist in comparison. So I would actually like to they make an extra curvy in the same style now that I kind of want to get and try and see if I like it. So yeah, maybe I'll start building up a new little small corset collection and talk a little bit about how that goes for me. And that's pretty much where I'm at right now. So my goal for tonight is to finish up another one of these whips, keep working on that, and I will check in with you guys next time. Bye!